So today I was thinking about so yesterday I got to shoot as a guest on Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer, the YouTube show podcast for those who don't have great financial situations, and he gives them advice and gives them a wake-up call. It's like Hell's Kitchen of finance, and it was fun. Those are good guys, and it was a fun time. And I appreciate the advice he gave me. At the same time, I recognize more every day that there's those of us who believe that we can do anything and are capable of anything, and those that don't really think about it. And a lot of people watching this probably don't literally believe that they're capable of anything or can do anything. And so like the last few years, like I worked in education for over 5 years, a variety of roles. I've said for years now that at my age, no one has more experience working with children than I do at every age level, every skill level, from babies to 18-year-olds in high school, to everything in between. No one is more qualified than me, regardless of papers and certifications, which I do have some of those too. In terms of actual experience and work, I don't think there's a person in the country or even the world who is as qualified to work, to be thrown into any dynamic with kids and do well. Anyways, I also worked for over 5 years as sports broadcasting, doing play-by-play, announcing for football, basketball, volleyball, whatever. And among other things, restaurant industry, bartending, retail, grocery, food, audio, video installation, a little bit of sales. Anyways, I was like in high school. I started working after my dad died around at 16, and my first job was at Bill Miller Barbecue. And most of my friends weren't working, and school was my escape from my real life, and then work became my escape from my real life, even beyond school, after school was over. And I've always loved working. I love working hard. I love challenging myself. And so, part of what we talked about on the show yesterday, and like in general, this comes up a lot these days, is like the last few years, I was psychologically healing from traumatic experiences of the last few years, but B, I haven't stayed put anywhere to work, and therefore I haven't improved my financial situation as much as I could have if I just stuck somewhere for 6 months or and worked. And that's fair. At the same time, some people try to spin this image of me that I don't like to work hard, or I don't like to work, or I'm a freeloader. I'm just trying to do nothing and expect to get by. And I think that I get it, but you don't know me, first of all. You also don't see me. It is much harder to pursue anything in the entertainment field or in the performing field, music, acting, whatever, and go all in on it, regardless of how much money it makes you, and still get by enough to survive while still overcoming. And I'm not just speaking about myself strictly or just lifting myself up, but every time I go get another job where I'm cool, I'll make a check, I'll make money, and I'll do my stuff on the side and I'll build it, and then when I am there, I'll leave the job and I'll do the stuff I want to do full time. Every time I do that, it takes away from the time that I could be putting into the stuff I actually care about, my passions, and it delays my progress, and it makes me go crazy. these days. I didn't used to. I didn't have passion to become anything. I didn't believe in myself as much. As a kid, I did. As a young man, I didn't. And I'm back to recognizing that, that kid was right, man. He was right. And when I feel dejected or misunderstood or lonely, I turn on videos of Michael Phelps interviews, because when Michael Phelps speaks, he says things that I don't think really a lot of people truly understand what he's saying. And it lights a fire in me. It fans the flames of my fire that makes me remember that I can do anything, and I'm in charge of that. And it reminds me of my mindset as a kid, and it empowers me. But I didn't get to spend my childhood honing into any specific skill set. I spent it trying to not kill myself anymore, I was suicidal and extremely depressed and demented and disoriented, and like all of my childhood was spent just trying to like stabilize internally enough to like last at school for a day without getting expelled or whatever. And then right around the time I was like myself a bit and stabilized and doing well, then my dad got cancer, and then he passed, and then my best friend passed right after high school. So I just became like a walking, floating meat sack that had no feelings anymore and didn't know how to feel or do or be or what I thought. And I was almost 20 years on a antipsychotic medication for a disorder I didn't have psychologically, that was affecting my body in a million different ways. And later this year will mark 7 years since I got off of medication, and I feel like I'm just now starting to get back to my headspace, myself, in a healthy way, in a clear way. The fog is lifting, and that's very encouraging and very trippy. But I say all that just to say that people that don't understand that will spin it and call me selfish, call me arrogant, call me elitist, call me like a privileged or expecting. And really it's just that I know what I'm capable of, which is anything, and I know that I can go get it, and I am, and I will, and nothing can stop me except myself. That's it. And I'm not gonna stop myself. I'm gonna conquer myself. And the results will speak for themselves and are speaking for themselves. I don't have to excuse myself to anybody. And while, the logical thing to do would be go get a job, work for 6 months to a year, make that cash, and then take that and go pursue my dreams. I could do that. But that's honestly easier than what I'm doing. It's easier but I think that it's also limiting because it's easier. I think that what I can achieve in the next year, instead of working for some other employer, and I'm not afraid of failure. Like, I welcome failure. I might go out somewhere and fail for 6 months, for 2 months, for 4 months. And I'm going to learn so much and be fed so much from that failure that the next 2 years after that are going to be so much higher in the potential and possibilities and the outcomes than it would be if I was like, let me go get my $20 an hour check and work for this business that does nothing for me in my future except give me this check. And I think there's a lot more to make and earn out here that is worth a lot more than money, than how much is in your bank account. Spiritual growth, challenge, social awareness. Talk to you long. See ya.